Well, this video is one I didn't expect to be making, but I had a piece of gear fail, my Godox TT685II. It failed with randomly different things, but it was an error 1. And error 1, according to the manual, is send it in for service. There's nothing much you can do. The reason I'm making this video is because I thought that this failure might be something I could talk about with you. Hi, I'm Hayward. Welcome to the channel. This video is going to be about these flashes, but it's going to be mostly about photographic strategy. And by photographic strategy, I mean strategy of buying gear and using gear in general. There's going to be two different levels. One is for pros and one is for amateurs. I've done another video about this flash, the 685II, where I highly recommended it. And I've been using it, I honestly don't remember. If you go back and look in my videos, I think it's over a year, maybe a year and a half that I've been using this flash, and I've been using it for work. This flash is a $129 flash as of today when I'm recording this video. So it failed after a year and a half. As a professional, yeah, what do you expect, right? As an amateur, that could mean the world's crashing down on you because you don't have a lot of budget for equipment. So you have to think about expectations for your equipment. Even if this flash were to come to life and start working, which it's done a couple of times, I can never trust it for a job. And you have to ask yourself, even as an amateur, can you trust it for something you're trying to shoot? And with a flash, you're probably shooting photos of people. So it may be a get-together that you've planned, and you can't arrive and have your flash fail and not be able to get the session. Of course, my lesson learned was I never have just one flash. I've got a bunch of flashes over here. I've got these two guys, which are my old Canon 580 EX2s that I've had for probably 12 years. And they're still working great. Well, of course they're still working great. They cost me almost $500 each 12 years ago. They better be working great. See, that's part of that expectation. The other thing is I would never go to a session having only one flash. Even perfect flashes, even pro photos fail. They break. Everything breaks. So if you absolutely got to have a piece of equipment, have two of them. Number one lesson from this is if you absolutely have to have a piece of gear, have two, or have another piece of gear that can step in and reasonably substitute for it. With flashes, it's fairly easy. The Godox and the Canon, the guide numbers are similar. They both work great. I'll be honest with you. The Canon doesn't work significantly better than the Godox. Now, would I still recommend this flash? Let's talk a little bit more. In order to replace this flash, I have a couple of choices. I can get another one, or I can get the newer Canon strobe, the EL1, I think, at the bargain basement price of $1,099. That is almost 10 times the cost of this. And I expect that it would last me at least a dozen years. If you do the math and break it down, a year and a half for $129, it's not too bad. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Every one of these isn't going to break in a year and a half. It's not going to happen, right? I don't know how many will, but judging by how it has worked for me, it's worked really well over the time. It's done everything I asked it to do. So something happened, you know, and again, it comes on and works from time to time. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably take it with me and use it. And if it goes south on me while I'm shooting, oh, no problem, pull it off, put the other one on. Got the backup. How important is a lack of failure in your photography? That's what you have to ask yourself. Do you have a must-work mentality? Like right now, I've got a wedding that I'm going to shoot next month. I don't shoot a lot of those. My gear has to work. You cannot have a gear failure at a wedding. You better have 1, 2, 3, everything you need at a wedding. So I'll have at least these 3 flashes. I might even rent another one. In that particular case, I cannot fail. Most photography, probably your photography if you're not a professional, is not in that category, right? You're not in a cannot fail category. You have to ask yourself, is it tolerable to have a $129 failure after a year and a half of good service? If it's not, what's it worth to do better? Is it worth stepping up to a $1,000 Canon or maybe a $2,000 Pro Photo? I mean, there's others in between these ranges. There's flashes all up and down the range. But to get better is money, right? And you have to remember that they can all still fail. If you're going into a session that's a must shoot, you better have more than one of everything you might need. So to answer the question, would I still recommend it? Absolutely. For $129, you get a lot of bang for your buck, and odds are you probably won't have a failure. That's it. I hope this video has had some tidbits of wisdom for you from a photographer who's working day in and day out with gear. If you've got any questions or anything, as always, hit me up in the comments. Until the next video, cheers.